Hi, this is Galen Martling. I'm here showing Unity Stamp Company today. I'm going to show an outer space galaxy card, really cute. And I'm going to show Brusho crystal colors for watercolor for this card. And it's going to be very colorful and very pretty in the end, but it does get a little messy. So I'm using from Unity Stamp Company the kit called Otherworldly Greetings, and it's a darling little kit. It's so sweet. It has a little astronaut, a little Martian. And so what I'm going to do is stamp using embossing ink. I'm using Wow embossing ink onto watercolor paper, the smooth side of the watercolor paper. And then I'm going to use white embossing powder over that embossing ink stamping, and then heat set it with a heat tool. You won't see it very clearly, but once we add the watercolor, it will pop through, almost like an emboss resist effect. So now I'm going to, on regular cardstock, stamp the astronaut and the Martian scene here. And I'm going to stamp with Copic friendly ink and color it in with Copic markers. Now this is going to be just a background. I was going to initially just color in the Martians and just leave them the way they are, but this is going to be a little background scene that's going to go over the galaxy, but it's going to be on the top of the watercolor. So I'm going to cut this out. Well, first I'm coloring it, and then I'll cut it out and I'll place it over the watercolor. So you'll see this scene twice. And so I go ahead and with a few colors of Copics that I list here and on my blog, I'm going to color in a little bit of the Martian and the astronaut and a little bit of gray and the ground there. And I'm just going to add just a hint of color, nothing too fancy. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut it out with scissors. I call it fussy cutting, or it's general term fussy cutting. And I just use scissors to cut it. You can use an electronic cutter if you'd like. I just did it this way. And so now I'm just going to get an idea of where I want it placed. That's going to be trimmed even more later on. And that is the watercolor panel with the white heat embossing. I hope you could see it. It's hard to see, but it will show up, I promise, after the watercolor. So now I'm adding the greetings, and I'm going to heat emboss those. And so I have this little spray bottle. Any spray bottle will do. This one's by Ranger. It's called a mini mister. Now I'm using Brusho crystal colors for watercolor. They go on dry, and so first I'm going to spray this watercolor panel, the whole thing, really wet with that spray bottle. And then for the Brusho colors, I'm using scarlet, ultramarine, and turquoise. And those colors are going to be added. At first, they're going to be added two at a time, and then you'll see I'm going to add some more after. Well, I go ahead and add all three colors there, it looks like. So I'm going to do this process over and over until I get the look I want. And so I use the spray bottle to move around the crystals once they get wet and once they blend like watercolor. And, there's no way this is going to turn out the same twice, but the general effect is pretty cool. It's very, very fun to do. It's messy. I recommend maybe some gloves. I didn't use gloves, so my fingers were blue for a while, but it was fun to do. So you just move it around. And you can let it dry in between if you like. I was just a little impatient, and I just used this whole thing in the wet process. So now I'm adding some more red to try to get more of a galaxy sky look, different colors. It was very wet, so I just tilted the paper there to get some water off of it. But yet it still moves the color around, so it does look very nice. Now, you may have some crystal on there that's still dry. It will react with water. So I just like to spray that out. I don't like to leave too much dry crystal right there on the paper. So I just sprayed again until that got more water-like. And then one more layer of the red. I wanted it to look a little more bright. And that's what I was going for, something like that for the galaxy look of it. Now you see the Martians in the background. They were also stamped, and Copic marker color was added. So that's going to be a layer right on top of those Martians. You see, that's the watercolor panel. Watercolor does fade when it dries, and so it just faded a little. I allowed it to dry. You can also heat set it. There you go. I'm adding the Martian and the astronaut panel that I colored right over top. And I left the white heat embossing for the sentiment and for the balloon. And it looks so pretty in person. I added a silver trim with silver shine paper to the right edge of that, just to finish it off and shimmer. Thanks so much for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe. Have a good day.